Hey good people, how you doing? David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. Hope all is going well. Hope your guitar journeys are going famously. I've been getting a lot of emails from students saying, you know, I know a couple of scales, but trying to put together licks, they're just not sounding that great, and I'm playing the same things over and over again. Can you do some simple, basic lead guitar things, bluesy stuff, and, you know, try and point me in the right direction? So sure, let's do it. So we're just going to take a couple of scales and I'm going to show you some techniques and devices that are really easy to get you sounding musical. Because remember, it's not just what you play, but how you play it, right? Those little nuances, those things that we add, the vibrato, the string bending, the raking, all those things, you know, that go into the sounds, right? Taking the notes and doing things with them that sound musical. And I'll be talking a lot about, you know, the feel, you know, the groove of the licks or the groove of the jam, right? Because that's what's really important, that we add these, you know, the feeling and the emotion to these techniques, right? And before we get rocking, if you could please subscribe to the channel. You know, subscribing to the channel, that really helps us to keep bringing the content. And it also will alert you to when we have a new lesson available, right? And leave a comment below. Let us know how you like this lesson. Let us know what lessons you'd like to see coming up, what gear you'd like to see reviewed. If you like the video, please click the like button, give it a thumbs up, share it, and we thank you so much for your support. And at the end of the lesson, I'll take all the licks that I showed you and I'll play them over a jam track so you could see them applied. And it's important to practice over jam tracks so you can have some musical context behind you, work on your timing, have that rhythm behind you. Today we're going to be in the key of D minor, all right? And I got all the gain off the guitar. I've just got a clean channel for instructional purposes. Just going to keep things really simple for you today. Just go over a couple of scales that we'll pull these licks from. The first one would be our expanded 1 minor pentatonic and blues scale. That looks like this in the key of D minor. Right, you probably know that one. And also we'll use, you know, probably your basic box shape in the key of D minor. Position 1, a lot of you know that as minor pentatonic and blues. And then also the one behind that, position 5. I like that position a lot too. So that's plenty of ammunition for our arsenal of licks that we'll go over today. So here's our first lick I want to talk about. Okay, there's a lot going on in that little lick. I'm taking it right out of that position 5 minor pentatonic. I'm adding a blue note, right? So you get that blue note for color. But basically, add string rakes. I add string rakes to almost every bend and all the time when I'm playing. And that's just, you're laying the palm of your hand on the strings and you're muting all the notes above the string that you're playing. So for instance here, I want to play this D note on the high E string on that 10th fret, but I'm raking from the A string down. I have it muted. But you could hear I don't have the high E string muted. So that's kind of the sound you want. And then what I do, and when I go down the chromatic part with the blue note, go back with a hammer on and pull off. Then I do a little micro bend. These little micro bends within this blues scale really add a lot of character. Even throw a little rake in there. You got to skip over the B string because you're going to get back to the G string. And you're going to bend that G. That's that flat third. You're bending that to the major third, right? Or just a little quarter step bend even. And that makes for a nice lick. Now, talking about feel, you don't want to play that lick, or any lick really, with like a straight 8th note feel, because it'll sound like this. Right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. You know what I mean? That has no feel to it. So a good practice thing to do is try to swing your notes a little bit. So the swinging of the notes will give it a little bit more instant feel. Then throw in the bend. You can even pause. Right? You want to practice that swing feel. It's the same way, like if we take that box shape that we talked about earlier. right? If you play that with straight eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You'd never play it like that. Not that you'd play the scale all the way up and down, but I'm just for instructional purposes. But listen now if I try to swing that like dooba 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 dooba. That kind of feel. And you could just practice it. Right? You can hear all the character that just doing something like that. I'm not playing a real complicated lick there, but by swinging the notes, you get so much more feel to it. Okay, there I accented the pull off a little bit more. Here's our next group of licks. Alright, that's the first part. So what I'm doing here is I'm hammering from the minor to the major third. Like in the last lick, we were bending. Now we're going to hammer that 10th to 11th fret on the G string. Now here's another little technique. First finger bar on the high E and B string. It allows you to get licks so much more fluidly. Not just this lick, but many licks when you're kind of in that box 1 position. So I'm playing 10th fret, B, high E, and B again. Now I'm doing a bending technique here where I'm bending up this F note to the G, and then I'm letting it down and I'm hitting it again with vibrato. So, and I'm raking into it. So you rake, make sure when you bend it up, you want to check to make sure you're getting that whole step bend. Then what I do, when I have it up there, I quickly bring it down and then I strike the note again with vibrato. And then I finish the lick off. I do that first finger bar again, high E, B, high E at the 10th fret, and then that 13th fret on the high E, back to my root note D on the 10th fret, and then again I do that on that F note, that little, again that flat third to major third bend. So the whole lick slow. Right? A lot of characters. See, we're doing that first finger bar. We're doing that hammer to the minor to major third bend. We're doing a bend and then let down quick. Hit it again. Vibrato. Right? Then, by the way, that's a great lick to play over the 4 chord. And you'll hear me do that at when I jam over the end, because the 4 chord, it goes from that D minor 7 to the G minor 7. Right? And then right at the time it goes to that G minor 7th, I'm bending your F to the G. Right? So that works great over that chord. Then it goes back to the 1 chord, and you could do a lick like this. Alright, what I did there, same thing. Started with that flat third to major third. First finger bar to get that B, high E, B. Now I rake, and this time I'm bending that C note up a whole step to the D, or 13th to 15th fret. That's always a winner because I'm bending to the root note, right? I'm bending to that D. Let it down, vibrato. Let it down, strike it again, vibrato. And then I do a quick bend and release. That time I'm bending it up and letting it down. I call that a jerk the chain bend, kind of jerk that bend. I really like that. Okay? So much you could do with bending strings. Again here, notice we're using that first finger bar. We're doing different bending techniques. We're bending up, we're letting it down, vibrato, bending up fast, jerk the chain, down, right? That's all going into that feel, that emotion that's going to give your licks character. That's a great lick to play over that when it goes back to the 1 chord, because you're bending over that to that D note, right? And it's over that D chord. It's always nice to know the chords you're playing over. It's the chords that really give you the full roadmap to what you can use solo and improvisation wise. The key is just a small part of it. You always want to know kind of what chords are going on behind you. That's why it's so important to play over jam tracks and know the chords of the progression. Now, if you're just starting out at first, don't worry so much. Just start playing, making noise, and having fun. But eventually, you want to really listen to those rhythms and what's going on underneath. If you want to get out of that last lick, so you end on that bend, something like that to get you back to the root note. All I did was, so on the B string, 10th fret, G string, 12th fret, right in that minor pentatonic. Then I did a double stop with vibrato where I'm first finger barring the 10th fret at the B and the G string, and I'm shaking it. Double stop vibrato. And then to the root note. 12th fret D string with vibrato. And if you want to see those scales drawn out on paper, because sometimes it helps having that connection where you're looking at them on paper as you're practicing them, I could help you with that. I'll send you my largest blues rock soloing ebook. I diagram out like 29 scales. The book is packed with soloing strategies, lessons, major, minor key. It's a great reference book you'll use throughout your guitar journey. I'll send you that. Plus, I'll send you a video lesson on some easy things that you can quickly do to really dress up your playing. All right, so here I'm focusing on this double stop, which is a really good sounding double stop. It's on the G string at the 14th fret and the B string at the 13th fret. That's a great double stop. You play the notes, one at a time. We're together. But what I do is I slide from the 12th fret, then I catch that 13th fret while the 12th fret is ringing. Slide back, do it twice. Then I grab that double stop that I just did in that last lick at that 10th fret, B and G strings. And then get back to that root note. 12th fret D, 10th fret D, 12th fret D, hammer 10 to 12th fret. So you're just varying the licks a little bit, You can create so many licks by just taking a lick that and just doing something a little bit different, Hammer-ons, trills, slides, right? Those little inferences all give different sounds. It's all about the sounds. You can even play it with like a little bit of a swing feel. So add these techniques and devices into your playing arsenal and work them up over time. And I'm going to play over the jam track at the end of the lesson. Listen for that and just a little bit on gear. I'm using a Fender Stratocaster, American made. I'm playing out of the neck pickup for all these examples. I was using a clean channel for the instructional stuff. Over the jam track, again, it'll be neck pickup through a Fender Hot Rod DeVille 212. Combo amplifier, and has reverb in the amp. So there's a little reverb, just a splash, and then I have an overdrive pedal in front of the amp. That's just providing a little bit of grit. So basically I'm plugged from the guitar into the input of the overdrive pedal, and then from the output of the overdrive pedal into the front of the amp. That pushes that amp a little harder, and that's what you want when you're, especially for this bluesy tone, right? And the other trick is on the overdrive pedal, the gain is down, but the level is up. And that's what really smacks that amp. So get that level up nice and high, gain down low. So remember, it's all about that groove. It's all about the sounds that you can create and taking those notes and doing musically interesting things with them and, pouring emotion and milking all the emotion out of those notes and doing these little nuances and techniques and devices to the notes will really get your playing to sound like it has character and depth. And your licks will really start to pop, and you'll really be amazed at how well they'll start to sound just by doing some of these little things and combining these techniques and devices together. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us to keep bringing the content, and we'll alert you when we have a new lesson up. Also, if you like the video, please like it, share it. And don't forget to get that ebook and video lesson. Ebook's packed with scale diagrams, video lesson on how to dress up your playing. I'll send them both to you for free from Next Level Guitar. Just click on that link below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support throughout the years. Stay tuned. Got lots more killer content and lessons coming. Keep up that hard work on that guitar, right? You can do it. And remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. Take care and rock on.